Good evening everyone, buddy. It's your old pal Overland Metalhead here. Hope you're going well recently. Just the other day, I was watching another YouTuber who I met last year in London, Jordan the Lion. He, like 1,000 days ago, he did a bucket list of 10 things he wanted to do and see in the next few years. And then 1,000 days later, he revisited that bucket list, and then he wrote a new bucket list. So, December 2016, I wrote on my blog a list of 10 countries that I want to see in 2016. And I did this in December 2015, before 2016 start. And in that year of 2016, I only went to about 3 of these places on my list. So, we'll do a bit of a revisit now. It's been 4 years, okay? So, number 1 was Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia. I went here in November 2017. I traveled overland from Almaty to Bishkek, and I spent most of my time in Bishkek just looking around the city. Good place. I got to stay in the yurt at my hostel and experience some nice Kyrgyzstan music. And then number 2 is Kazakhstan. Insert Borat jokes, they don't really like that stuff. I was in Kazakhstan for a couple of days, but only in Almaty. I didn't get to go to Astana, or as now known as Nur Sultan. There are cheap flights that go from Budapest to Astana a couple of times a week on Wizz Air. So I may go back to Kazakhstan someday in the near future. And number 3, Guyana. If I was to land in one location in South America, to say where I want to plant my flag for the first time, like the first time I visited Los Angeles, Los Angeles in 2010, that was the first time I went to North America. Beijing 2011 was the first time I went to Asia. London in 2011 was the first time I went to Europe, and Tangier in Morocco in 2011 was the first time I went to Africa. So, unfortunately, they don't have direct flights from London to Guyana. You have to change planes in Trinidad. But just discovered recently it's much cheaper to go to French Guiana than it is to any of the other Guyanas. Then number 4, Armenia. Went there the 15th of November 2017. I only spent 2 days there in Yerevan. Great place. I'd go back to Armenia any day of the week. I owe my life to the Armenian people at a church in Sydney, who helped me escape from the Catholic Church when I was falling out with them 6 years ago. Okay, Hong Kong, SAR. Okay, it's not really a country. It's a part of China, but it was under the British for over 150 years. But it makes it really special. I went to Hong Kong 3 years ago on the 8th of November 2016, and I spent roughly 5 days within Hong Kong, SAR, mainland China. Hong Kong's quite nice. I wouldn't really say it's cheap, but it was a good place to stop off on the way to Russia, Vladivostok. And number 6 on my list was Malta. I went to Malta on Christmas Eve in 2017, mainly because I didn't want to be in the UK at Christmas that time. The reason why I travel most of the times at Christmas is because in 2016 my Middlesbrough family gave me the cold shoulder, and they just ignored me and stuff, so I had to have a really shit Christmas in Glasgow in a flop house. So then I thought, okay, every Christmas, now I'm going to go somewhere awesome. So that Christmas I was in Malta, and on Christmas Day I met an Australian lady who was the niece of one of my friends who taught me yoga many years ago. And then, last Christmas, I was in Nicaragua. So, Malta is a really good place I've been to in Europe. I would like to go back there later on in life and maybe see that Popeye village, because I didn't really know anything about that Popeye village. I just went to the main island on Malta. Okay, the number 7, another, not a country, but Guernsey. Now, my cousin Charles moved to Guernsey in 2015, and I visited him there in Guernsey 3 times in the last 3 years. Like, it was May 2016, and then March 2017, and then I didn't go back over until last June, July this year, yeah. Yeah, because I came back from Lebanon and I went straight to Guernsey. I don't think I will be going back to Guernsey anytime soon, because I'm hoping that my cousin moves away from Guernsey in the next, like 12 months from now. I hope he's still like somewhere new. And it's like really expensive to visit. It's like £70 on the ferry, and like, with myself, I had to travel from London to Portsmouth after midnight. I have to kick around Portsmouth Port from 2 till 6, wait till it opens, then I'm gonna wait until 9 o'clock to go on the ferry. So it's highly unlikely I'll go back to Guernsey. Okay. And then number 8, the Philippines. So in January 2015, I was supposed to go to Manila from Kota Kinabalu in Borneo, but I got really ill. Well, not like hospital ill, but I just got really sick, and I just flew back to Australia because I didn't know what was wrong with me. So I missed out going to the Philippines. Then I was supposed to go in May 2016, but then I decided I'd go to England earlier so I could see Metal Church and look for a job. I don't know when I will get to go to the Philippines. I think if I do go back to Australia for a visit, I will stop off in Manila on the way to Australia or back to the UK, like depending on how much it costs. But yeah, the Philippines is a country I like to visit. Just Manila City in its own, I definitely like to spend at least 2 or 3 days there. And then number 9, something really special. Sweden, yes. I was supposed to move to Sweden in October 2015, but I had personal fights with my mom, so I ended up in Birmingham in July 2015. I finally made it to Sweden in December 2016 on my big overland travel from Vladivostok to London. I deeply regret not staying in Sweden that time. I should just settle down in Sweden. But then I moved to Sweden in July 2018 as I booked a room in the south of Stockholm in Farsta for a whole month. But nobody gave me a job. The Swedish government, they like to be pricks to people from the EU. They won't give them personal numbers unless they have a job with a contract. And I had to deal with a lot of xenophobic bullshit of retarded Swedish people asking me, "Oh, why Sweden?" Like, these people don't even work for the migration board, so they shouldn't be asking these stupid questions. So, if you don't like me, a Caucasian person, moving to your country so I can live a better life, then you really need to go fuck yourself. Politics over. But I will move back to Sweden one day. It might not be Sweden, it might be somewhere else in Scandinavia. Who knows? And then last on my list, Sudan. Just North Sudan. Now, it's not hard to get a Sudanese visa. It's quite easy if you go to Egypt. The only drawback is if you go to Sudan, you won't be allowed to go to America on the ESTA. Like, I've been ineligible since 2000, because I went to Iran in 2012 on an Australian passport, which I've destroyed. I can't go to America, and neither can anybody who's been to Iraq, Syria, Sudan, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, the Republic of Korea. Yeah, it's a huge China ban, but in my opinion, I've only been to America once, and I don't want to go back again, because in my opinion, America sucks. And it's like, think about it, there's 193 members of the UN, and you take away one, there's 192. So you've got 192 countries other than America to go visit. So this was my old list. Put to the side. Now we're going to start this new list. So honorable mentions I'm gonna give. Okay, it's only a list of 15, but it's top 10 plus extra 5. At number 11, Brazil. I'm gonna head up there soon to the north part of Brazil. Number 12 in also Suriname. Since I'm heading to Guyana, I might as well head to Suriname. Number 14 out of the Philippines. I do plan to go out to Australia sometime next year, so I might as well go pencil Philippines in my book. Guyana, definitely Guyana. Definitely, since that was on the original plan. And also Sudan, so I thought, okay, if I haven't been to Sudan, and this is on my original list, then I might as well add it. Number 10, Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is starting to open up to the world these days because they've stopped. They've got the waived visa requirements. Like if you're a Western citizen, you can go to Uzbekistan for 30 days, and they won't search your bags for contraband, or they won't look through your photographs, or they won't look through your pillbox. It's on the way, but it depends on where you're going. Like I knew a guy called Johnny Blair who went to Uzbekistan. He had a hard time leaving Uzbekistan, but an easy time entering Afghanistan. Okay, now number 9, South Africa. One of the last dominions of the British Empire I haven't been to yet. I've already been to Canada, New Zealand, Australia, United Kingdom, and Ireland. Yeah, so South Africa, all the countries that border South Africa, when you look at the map, like Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Eswatini, Lesotho, I would go to all these countries within a 2-week period. So I just need like 2 weeks away from England just to get there. Okay, number 8, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. I have been to 2 North Korean embassies in Europe, in London and Stockholm. And I've always craved having a North Korean visa in my passport. Like, I can picture myself going to the North Korean embassy in Acton Town or Stockholm, knocking on the door with $50 and saying, hey, I would like a visa to visit your country. And, I mean, because most times, if you go to Beijing and you pick up your visa, they don't stick it in your passport. You just get a stupid tourist card. I'm kind of hoping that they do have visa stickers in Stockholm and London embassies. It depends. So to go on a North Korean tour on the budget, you would have to travel to the China-Korea border and get a train across. You can get tours, super cheap tours for under €500, or 3-day tours which I'll take you to the DMZ for at least €800 and stuff. Just my only requirement is I need to get a double entry Chinese visa. Okay. 7. This is going to shock a lot of you people. Afghanistan. Yes, I am serious about setting my 2 feet in Afghanistan someday. Now, my options to go there are I could go travel to Tajikistan, and in the Palmyra area, which is on the border, they have border markets where you give your passport to the Tajik border guard and you step across a bridge. And there's a border market every Saturday where Tajiks and Afghans trade stuff. If you go to this border market, you're literally entering Afghanistan, but without paying about $120 or $150 for a visa. There's another part of, in the same region of Tajikistan, you can get an Afghan visa. And it means you can enter Afghanistan properly, but you would only be allowed to go to the Wakhan corridor area. I know a lot of people who have been to Mazar-i-Sharif and Herat, and these parts of Afghanistan are very safe now, but they require a transit in Kabul airport and stuff, and I'm not really keen on ever going to Kabul. I mean, if I had some mindset, I would drive from Uzbekistan all the way to Mazar-i-Sharif, see what's there, and then drive all the way back to Uzbekistan. Okay, number 6, this is a double whammy. I couldn't split them in half. Zambia and Zimbabwe. Now, Victoria Falls is one place in Africa I want to go, because the Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme, he went to Zambia in 1971, in the early 70s, and he stood at Victoria Falls, and he called the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe a border of human decency. This was around the time when Zambia was helping out the Zimbabweans in the Rhodesian Bush War, and so then years later, Rhodesia became Zimbabwe. So it would be quite awesome to cross between the two countries and stuff, even though both countries are like $50 USD visa. But if I cross from Botswana to Zambia, I can get a Kaiser visa that covers both countries. Okay, number 5. That's a shocker. Tajikistan. I've been to most countries of the Soviet Union. I've been to both parts of Czechoslovakia. I've been to all countries in Yugoslavia, but only 3 pieces of the Soviet Union haven't been filled in by me. There's Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. Turkmenistan for me is out of the question because they require a tour, which is like $1,000, and like you have to be driven around the country, and like that. You can get a transit visa, but that's basically, you have to enter an exit on certain days. And it's more like you travel from Kazakhstan through Turkmenistan to Uzbekistan, or you travel from Afghanistan through Turkmenistan to Uzbekistan. I will wait a while, and then maybe Turkmenistan might open up like Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan have done recently. But Tajikistan is quite cool, especially in this autonomous part of the country in the east, in the Pamir Mountains. Like, to drive from Dushanbe to Korog takes about a whole day, and it's really like risky, like when you drive in winter. But it's according to photographs I've seen online, it's quite a nice, peaceful place, and especially in winter. And number 4, Egypt. I was supposed to go to Egypt 12 months ago, but then I had a lot of stuff to do at work, and I couldn't go. But then I ended up going to Central America at Christmas. I really want to go to Alexandria and El Alamein, because that's where my great uncle Mick from New Zealand fought in World War II, and those areas would be quite significant to visit. One of my cousins, Leslie, her uncle Leslie, is also buried in Alexandria. And Egypt in the whole, I would like to travel a lot, and that would give me a stepping stone into Sudan, because back in the day there used to be a ferry from Aswan all the way to Wadi Halfa in Sudan. But I would only leave once a week, but now they open up a border crossing between the two countries, so it's easier to get to. Number 3, Mongolia. Mongolia, it's like I've been in China, I've been in Russia, but sandwiched between the two is Mongolia. The closest I got there was when I was in Russia on the Trans-Siberian 3 years ago. I got off at this town called Ulan-Ude, and normally from there it's a few-hour bus ride to Mongolia and into the capital Ulaanbaatar. It's too expensive to fly from England or Turkey to Mongolia directly. You usually have to change planes in Berlin or Istanbul. To do it all as cheap would be to go to China with a multiple entry visa, and then just overland it to Mongolia. It takes about 24 hours from Beijing to the capital. But also still need a Mongolian visa. Okay. The number 2. Cuba. I met the Cuban ambassador 2 years ago in London at this event for the North London Communist Party to celebrate the 100th year of the Bolshevik Revolution. The Cuban ambassador, she's a lovely lady, her name's Teresa, and I met her at the conference, and she told us all that Cuba has a vaccine against lung cancer, but they're not going to give it to the Western world, and Cuba's retired of this bullshit blockade that's been happening for the last 60 years. Since politics aside, Cuba would be a great place to go because I'm a proud anti-imperialist and stuff, and I would really love to pay my respects to Fidel Castro and Che Guevara, because when I was 29-year-old who emigrated from Australia, which is full of imperialist bullshit, to England, the biggest imperialist country in the world, I got turned down for a job at the Hilton Hotel for a dishwashing job, and they were judging me because of a team activity, and so I told the HR at the Hilton Hotel to go fuck himself. And I also said that if Che Guevara was alive today, he'd be spewing at you, turning down talented people and hiring retards. So, I mean, that's what all these chains of buildings are about. I mean, I don't think there's any Hilton hotels in Cuba, but if you're going to go to a country like Cuba and Havana, you'd be better off, like, staying in a local hotel rather than just a stupid chain. And the number one shock factor, Syrian Arab Republic. I got a friend of mine who's been running tours to Damascus for the last couple of years. He hasn't done one in a couple of years because of political stuff, but I would be willing to go to Damascus any day of the week at the drop of a hat. It's not that hard to enter Syria the legal way, which is, I mean, crossing from Lebanon to Syria. Like, you have to pay some money to a fixer in the country who gets you a security clearance, and then once you get a security clearance, you take your clearance, you fly to like Lebanon, you get in a taxi, you travel across the border, then you pay for your visa, which can range from like about like $50 or to $200, just depends. And then like you're free to travel to areas that are run by a certain government. I'd only be willing to go to Damascus for safety concerns. Because when I was in Bashar earlier this year, I was telling people, "Hey, you can go to Damascus if you like," and then she's like, "No," this Swedish was like saying, "Nah, isn't it safe?" And I'm like, "Oh, Damascus is 100% safe. Just need to watch the media and stuff." So anyway, that's my top 10. Over Metalhead, over and out.